How to stop obsessing over someone. Hi guys, my name is Christine Loveridge and I'm a dating, relationship and personal development coach. And today I'm talking about how to stop obsessing over someone. So I think this is more common in teenagers, because it especially was in me. Whenever I got a crush on someone, I would usually obsess over them. And it's not a healthy thing to do, but it is something that teenagers do because they don't really understand how destructive this kind of behavior can be. And because of social media now, it's so easy to obsess over someone by looking at their pictures and stalking them on Facebook, on other social media platforms. It's so easy to get obsessed these days. And I'm not afraid to admit that it's something that I really struggled with when I was a teenager. So my personal story is whenever I became obsessed with a girl that I really liked, it was mostly down to the fact that I was a lesbian and I just didn't think that there were that many other lesbians out there because I was so young. I thought that what I was really rare. I didn't think that, there were a lot of lesbians in the world, which there are, or bisexual girls. But unfortunately, I would get crushes on straight girls, which is usually what does happen to lesbians when they're teenagers. They do tend to fall for their straight friends. And that's something that I personally went through. And because I knew that I would never be able to be with them and get them, I would obsess over them. And it was really, really unhealthy and destructive. And add that to someone who also has a poor self-image, which I did as a child and as a teenager, that only escalated the problem and made it much worse. And I just didn't realize how destructive my behavior was. And because of it, I'm sure I probably made a few girls that I was interested in a little bit uncomfortable, because when I was a teenager especially, I did tell the girls that I really liked that I liked them, and unfortunately for me that ended a lot of friendships for me that probably could have lasted a long time, but because I was just I just couldn't get over them and I was obsessing over them, that was impossible pretty much. So if you are obsessing over someone, don't beat yourself up about it, but you're on the right video because I'm going to show you and try to help you as best that I can to get yourself out of this situation. So the first point that I want to make is to realize that it's a waste of time, especially if the person that you're obsessing over and that you're in love with and have all these feelings for, especially if this is someone that you know in your heart that you are never going to ever be with. So for me personally, my experience was I was falling in love with straight girls, and I've made videos in the past for other lesbians and bisexual girls about straight girls and how it's absolutely fruitless and pointless to waste your time and your emotions on those women because they will only ever fall in love with men because they're straight. And if they do fall in love with a lesbian or a bisexual woman, they were never straight to begin with. But if a girl is completely straight, there is no chance that a lesbian or a bisexual girl has with them because they will only ever want to be with men and only fall in love with men. There might be an opportunity for experimenting, but they will never own their heart. So, and obviously another kind of person that, you might be obsessing over who you can't have might be someone who's an authority figure. So it could be a boss, it could be a teacher, just someone completely inappropriate. Or it could just be someone that just doesn't like you back. Perhaps you've already told them that you like them and they've said to you, look, I'm not interested. And one of the things that really helped me stop obsessing over the girls that I liked was the fact that I actually experienced it from the other end. I had a guy who was really obsessed with me back when I was in university. He asked me out and I said, look, no, I'm not interested. Yet he continued to try and pursue me. And that's when I realized how awful it is to be on the other end of that kind of thing, and how annoying it is and how disrespectful it is. And basically, if you are still chasing someone who has told you that they're not interested, you are coming across this way. And that's one of the things that really helped me realize that my behavior was completely inappropriate. So realize that it's a waste of time. There's no chance that you have with them. And if this is someone that you really do like and you haven't asked them out yet and you haven't shown interest in them, because perhaps this is someone appropriate, perhaps this is someone who you go to school with or someone you work with who is on the same level as you, someone who is appropriate, someone who's the same age relatively, So if this is someone appropriate, then I don't see the point, and it's not going to hurt anyone. So let's say they're not married, they don't have a boyfriend or a girlfriend, then there's no reason why you can't ask them out and see how things go. But if you've already been rejected by them, or you know that this person is completely inappropriate for you, then you need to realize that you're wasting your time. There's no point you scrolling through their wall on Facebook, looking at their pictures, listening to love songs and imagining them. There's no point in doing that because you're never going to be with them. Another example might be celebrities. You might have a really big celebrity crush, and you just, have like notifications on each time they do an update. You just, again, stare at their pictures. You may even have like a collection of photos of them and that kind of thing. So again, that's something that you need to stamp out. And again, I've also had these experiences and these urges, so I understand the temptation to do that, but you need to realize that it's a waste of time. You are wasting your emotions and your life on someone you will never have a chance with. And I'm sure in your heart that you really do want someone that you can connect to, have a connection with and love. So don't waste your time on someone you don't have a chance with. If you are looking for someone, then I suggest that you get a dating profile if you haven't already, or if you're old enough, or go to places that you personally like going to so you can strike up conversations with people. Because the best way that you can probably meet someone who has the same interests as you is to go to places that you really like and that you have interests in, and then you can strike up conversations with people there and make friends, and maybe you can find someone that way. But if not, get a dating profile and start searching for someone who is appropriate. You have to realize that this obsession of yours is a fantasy, and if you really want a connection with someone, then you need to stop this and start focusing on actually finding someone who will want you and love you back. So if you can't help yourself, then my next point is to remove them from social media. So block them, or just remove your social media apps if you don't want to block them. Like, let's say it will be inappropriate if you block them or something. And also remove other triggers as well. So this might be let's say that someone then try and avoid them. Try not to be in contact with them. Just try to remove any triggers that will keep you in your obsession. So essentially you need to detox yourself from them. And in the meantime, because obviously that's going to create a vacuum. So when you have this behavior of obsessing, and thinking about them or looking at their social media, then you need to when you stop doing those things, you need to fill that space with something else. Otherwise you might go back to it. So to fill the vacuum, shall we say, try and get some new activities that you can do. Some activities that are probably good for you and are not detrimental to your mental health in any way. Things that are good for you and that are positive. So it could be taking up a hobby. It could be starting a side business. This could be exercising. It could be spending more time with friends. It could be joining a club or a group. Just try and fill that time with something else. Another thing that you could do, it could be like read books. One of the things that got me into self-development, back when I had a really poor self-image of myself and I found it hard to even get out of bed, one of the things that I used to do was play video games, and I enjoyed playing video games. I decided that I would turn the volume down on the games and actually listen to personal development books via audiobooks, or I'd listen to positive seminars. And some of the things that I have watched and have liked are in a positive resources playlist that you can watch here. I would literally watch these or listen to these while I was playing a video game. And after watching them enough and repeating some of the seminars over and over and over again, the one that I've probably watched the most in that positive resources playlist is the first one, which is The Power of Intention by Dr. Wayne Dyer. Once I watched that enough, I ended up putting the video games down and started to do something with my life and start to build myself up even more in new and better ways. And that's when I really started getting into understanding dating, relationships, and personal development. So I would highly recommend that if you find it hard to get out of bed, but you'd like to play video games, then play video games by all means. Don't just expect that your life is going to change just like that, because it won't. But start putting positive things into your head. Watch videos like this one. They don't have to be mine. It could be someone else. It could be Tony Robbins, or it could be Gary Vee. Or it could be David Goggins, or it could be, there's another good dating coach called David Tian. He's a really good coach. You can watch some of his videos. I don't mind. Just watch and listen to positive things that are going to help you and reinforce you and just put some good stuff into your brain. And you can do it while you're doing other things. You can do it while you're cooking, you can do it while you're cleaning, you can do it while you're driving, you can do it while you're on the bus to school or to work, or on the train when you're commuting, the time that you would probably previously have obsessing over someone else. So I would recommend that you go and do that. So the next point I want to make is to develop a better self-respect and a better self-image, because it's highly likely if you are obsessing over someone, subconsciously you probably believe that you don't actually deserve love in some way, which is why you're sabotaging yourself and relying on your obsessions, and relying on a fantasy, because you feel deep down you won't ever be able to find the real thing. Now, I recently made a video about self-image. I highly recommend that you go and watch that. It's part of one of these courses that I'm going to make to really help people with the basic things that they need to start their journey on having a better life, a better quality of life, and a better self-image. So I would highly recommend that you go and watch that video so it can help you develop a more self-respect and a better self-image. So the next point I want to make, and this is really important, and that's the dangers of obsession. And the reason why I want to talk about this is because there are actually real complications and consequences of being obsessed, even if you are a well-meaning person. And if you become too obsessed and you, shall we say, you indulge too much in this obsessive behavior, at some point you may take action on it. So you might show up to their house, or you might start to try and sneakily find out information about them to try and persuade them to fall in love with you. There's some real dangers out there to being overly obsessed with someone. Now, I'm not saying that's you, but if you are obsessing over someone, then those things can actually lead to that. So you need to make sure that you don't overly obsess with someone, because there are some real dangers and some real consequences out there. Okay, and you've all heard about these people like serial killers and all this kind of stuff, that things have just started with obsessions and then they've led to more. Like I said, that I'm not saying that it's you, but you just need to be very careful with where your thoughts are leading to. Okay, so that's kind of like my warning to you, because there are things out there such as restraining orders. Okay, which is why when people ask me about when a girl's blocked them, or they've unblocked them, or they've just sent too many messages, that you need to back off if someone has blocked you. You need to back off if someone has told you no, because if you don't, you could get into some serious trouble, even if you are a well-meaning person. Okay, guys, I hope this has helped you. If you'd like help with me personally and need help with a specific situation, then go to www.christineloveridge.com/shop to get coaching with me. Or alternatively, you can use the email address provided in this video's description box. Just write to me and we'll try and work something out that way. Or I can try and help you quickly if you need help with something really small. Please like, please subscribe, and I shall talk to you again very soon. Goodbye, guys.